Why won't companies tell fans the truth? Now, I do understand that there are unhinged K-pop fans, right? We all know this, but I have not once seen a company tell fans at the end of the day, the idols are just playing a role and they're actually just regular people. I would assume that it's because it doesn't need to be said, but I don't know. Given everything that has gone on in K-pop, I think it still needs to be said, because there's people that literally think that they are the only people that the idols should be staring at or paying attention to. And I want to kind of help you guys understand something. The world of K-pop, I said in a previous video that politics should not be in K-pop, right? Because K-pop is just not built for those kinds of things. K-pop is a form of escapism, right? Where we can escape to another world, and it's okay to escape to another world for a while. It's when fans view that world as a part of the real world, then the problems start arising. When an idol starts dating, when the fans get jealous and get angry and talk about kicking them out of the group and everything, companies won't tell fans that these idols are not idols. They're really not idols in real life. They are just people. In this world of K-pop, there is fantasy, mystery, beauty, grace, elegance, poise, class, and quote-unquote perfection, or at least an unrealistic idea and expectation of what perfection is and how it is perceived in Korea. The idols are there to fulfill a fantasy. And I hate to use it or explain it like this, but it's the best way I can explain it. They are trained, taught, and marketed to fulfill a fantasy of transporting you from the real world to another world. That's why we have exoplanet. Exoplanet is not real. It only exists in the realm of K-pop, where fantasy dwells. Shiny world, not real. It only exists in the world of K-pop, where fantasy dwells. BTS Army world. I know it's not what it's called, but just go with it for now. It only exists in the realm of K-pop where fantasy dwells, all right? All the fictional stuff about K-pop, that's where it dwells. You know, the makeup, the stylish clothing, the outfits, the gold and silver chains and rings that they wear, the eye contacts, the different color hair, the bright pale makeup that makes their skin appear pale as porcelain and glisten like vampires from the Twilight series. That is the persona of the idol. Think about it this way. Star Wars is a fantasy world, and in that fantasy world, you'll see people like Obi-Wan and Anakin and Padme and Dooku and Darth Sidious and all these other people, right? In real life, they are Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor, Ian McDermott, the late Sir Christopher Lee, God rest his soul, Natalie Portman. That's who these people are in real life. Natalie Portman gets married, has kids. Ewan McGregor gets married, has kids. Hayden Christensen gets married, has kids. We don't get mad and say, oh my God, no, but you're my Padme. You're my Padme, or you're my Anakin Skywalker. No, we don't do that, because we know how to differentiate between reality and fiction. In K-pop, it's the same thing, except there's a number of fans that don't know how to differentiate between the idols and the people behind the persona of the idol that they are supposed to be on stage. And I think the only difference I can say between a fantasy movie and K-pop is that, unlike a movie, which you play the role once or twice, depending on if there's a sequel, and then you move on to the next role, you have many different roles. This one role that the idol plays, they play for years. It's the same role over and over again. And I'm not trying to say that it's a fake person that has been created by the company. I'm saying that it is a idol persona that they have to portray in order to keep you captivated into this world. All that K-pop is a world that is supposed to compel you and draw you in. Their beautiful skin and their faces, beautiful women, handsome and beautiful men who can dance, sing, play instruments, even rap, compose music. Of course, all of these things are natural talents, even like the natural look of a person being beautiful or handsome, or whether you're a guy or a girl, but they're used by the company in a way to market idols and to lure people into this fantasy world. For many idols, it's hard to differentiate between the persona and the actual person of who they really are, which is why a lot of idols fall into a very hard period where they are trying to find who they really are. It's very difficult to do that when you're constantly playing the role constantly over and over again, day in and day out, and it becomes a part of that person's life. All of that is a way to lure you in, right? To suck you into their world. That's all it is. But when the makeup comes off, when the accoutrements are removed, the gold and the silver chains and necklaces and bracelets and rings and all that, when the awesome looking clothing that they wear on stage comes off, when the contacts are removed, when all that stuff's gone, they are literally just people like everybody else. But companies will never tell you this. And I honestly am convinced, because companies have never said this. And like I said, maybe it's because they assume that with the amount of idol trainee programs that shows you, look, this is who they are. With all that said, companies will never tell the fans the truth. They will never tell the fans the truth about the idols, like who the idol really is, because they want you to remain stuck in the fantasy world. Now it's your choice, because life goes on. You have to live your life. I'm not trying to completely blame the companies, because there are some people with common sense who see it for what it is, gimmick, right? It's a fantasy world, a form of escapism. And one of the golden rules of escapism is that you eventually have to leave the escapism land and go back into the real world and do life. But there are those that just can't do that. They can't, right? They make their whole life about the idol, make their whole life about the celebrity, make their whole life about the shipping, make their whole life about, every little thing. Their life becomes the idol's life, but it's not really the idol's life, though, is it? It's what's put in front of us. It's the persona. Sure, the connections and bonds that these idols have are real between each other, but deep down, at the end of the day, we're not privy to the true nature of who they are. So ethereal, so mysterious, so otherworldly are these idols portrayed as by the companies, that when it comes out that an idol is dating someone else besides the fandom, the fans go crazy because they can't abide someone taking their man or their woman, who is their bias, away from them. And so they throw fits and tantrums online, and then they say, you know what, you turned your back on me, so I'm going to turn my back on you, and I'm going to protest that you are removed from the group and the company. Why? Well, because they're still stuck in the fantasy world. Their life is a part of it. They feel like they're a part of it in some way. But this is actually a mental illness, and I'm not saying this to belittle mental illness at all. This is actually literally what I see as a mental illness, when you cannot escape from a world that is designed to be escapable, right? You're supposed to hop in, get that adrenaline and get that feel good energy in you, and then go back out into the real world and do your best. But some people cannot get out because they don't want to. They feel like they are part of the world, attached to it and attached to the people. The idols are simply human. They were not born idols. They became idols to fulfill their dreams. But the company is using these idols for the sake of selling a fantasy to you. Being able to understand that and differentiate between fiction and reality, that is the hardest thing for some people to do, but it is necessary. And so I just wanted to make this quick little video to highlight that point. A little bit more of a somber, serenading video, but let me know what you think in the comments. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have anything more to add to it, feel free. I'll do more content like this where I just drop little nuggets here and there. So until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.